Heyo, it's Mayo. How to open up your spiritual abilities is a simple question with a lengthy and complicated answer. Back in October, I shared some videos about my spirituality and my spiritual gifts, and since October, I have received a ton of requests for the following topics. How to see spirits, how to communicate with spirits, and how to open up your spiritual gifts. I am covering those 3 topics in my next 3 videos. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on how to open up your spiritual abilities. Likely, you are ending up here because you are searching for suggestions, and you're continuing to search because the basic, common suggestions that people give haven't really been cutting it for you. So, to be fair, I will be covering some of the basics, but stick around for the end of the video because I'll offer a couple deeper suggestions that may help. So first, let's start with some of the basics. Limitless. This is probably something you haven't really heard before, but in my book, this is a basic. Growing up in society, we are taught about the limitations of the world. And unfortunately, some of what we're taught is not true. Spirituality is not something that's limited, it's limitless, and the universe is just infinite possibilities. So some of these things that we're taught in society about thinking about things in a box of limitation, spirituality doesn't fit in that box. So when you try and approach spirituality in the same way you would approach normal life, it doesn't work because, like I said, spirituality isn't something you can fit in a nice, neat little box. It's limitless. When you open yourself up to the limitlessness that there is in the universe, you open yourself up to a whole lot of possibilities and being able to do things that you weren't able to do before. So if you ever catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, this isn't real, there's a limitation here, just recognize that you have put yourself back in the box that society put you in, and recognize that you can step out of that box and be more open to more possibilities. And this flows perfectly into the next topic, which is have an open mind. Having an open mind will take you so far, not just in spirituality, but in life. Be open to surprising yourself, having the universe surprise you, having all kinds of amazing possibilities enter your life, whether you expect them to enter or not. Be open-minded and be open to being surprised. Curiosity. Some of the best advice I've ever been given is be curious, because fear cannot exist when curiosity does. The law of attraction is that like energy attracts like energy. So if you're curious, you will attract more things that will surprise you. Not always in great ways, but you'll attract better things. In comparison to fear, if you're afraid, then you're going to attract things of that vibration. You're going to attract things that you fear, very likely. An example that I'll use is that a lot of people fear demonic shit, for lack of a better way to describe it. When it comes to spirituality, people fear being haunted, being possessed. They fear the things that they see in pop culture and in movies, because yes, that does make a great plot for a movie, but is it realistic? Meh. This is my example because I think a lot of people do fear dark, demon, whatever. If you fear that demons will enter your life, control your life, take over, etc., dark entities will be more attracted to you because of your fear. If you don't fear those things, if you're confident and secure and all of those things, if you're focused on moving in positive directions, then you're not going anywhere near that stuff. Make sense? So step out of these fears, step out of those anxious thoughts, those worries, and move forward in spirituality with curiosity, and better yet, a childlike curiosity, because kids are just optimistic and fun and playing. They're not all in their head thinking about, oh, dip, 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 dip. They're just like, wee! So, take a note from kids and move forward in spirituality with a childlike curiosity and a childlike optimism and excitement and hope. Have fun and play and go back to how you were when a kid, when you believed in possibilities and magic. Go back to that and attract more of that. Pure-hearted curiosity will protect you so much more than you think, and it will set your intentions in a positive, optimistic direction so much more than you think. Pure-hearted curiosity. Remember that. Intentions. This is a section I could have titled so many things, because this is not only intentions, this is the power of the mind, the power of thought, the power of word. If you can think it, if you can imagine it, you can do it. It can be real. And so it is. While in a calm, maybe meditative state, you can center yourself and set your intentions for whatever is in alignment for you and what you're wanting in terms of expanding your spiritual abilities. So, for example, from these frequently asked topics I've been getting, I want to see spirits. I want to communicate with spirits. I want to open my spiritual abilities. Choose your intention, set your mind to it, and let it happen. Leave no room for thinking in a limited way. If you start thinking things like, I don't know how to do that, I can't do that, I'll never learn how to do that, I don't know if this is real, I don't believe in this, then you're limiting yourself. Remember, limitations. You're setting yourself into a box, and you're putting a wall in front of your path when you say, I can't do that. Bam, a wall comes in front of you, because now you believe you can't do it. So why would anything else happen other than not being able to do it? I'm not saying that you have to 100% believe in yourself, because I get it, that's hard. Sometimes believing in yourself comes with trial and error and time, but all you have to do to believe in yourself is think, I am open to learning to see if I am able to do this. See what a big difference that is between, I don't know how to do this, I can't do this, and I am open to exploring and seeing if there are possibilities here. Completely different intentions, completely different mindsets that will produce totally different outcomes. Other cool intentions that you can set are, I believe this is possible, and I'm curious to explore and see if this is possible. See how that's very open-ended. Another good one, if you're wanting to build more confidence for yourself, is believing, I can do this, I can easily do this without being drained. Intentions are huge. Intentions and mindset and perspective that you move forward into spirituality with can totally change your outcomes. So set your intentions in a positive, uplifting, confident, empowered way and move in that direction. Stop limiting yourself. Be open, be curious, be explorative. Have a good time. Just a note, if you're clear and super specific about an intention, just make sure to stay open and leave yourself wiggle room for different outcomes to come, because sometimes an intention can be too specific and then that becomes a limitation as well. So leaving yourself wiggle room and openness is definitely the way to go here. Meditation. Meditation is talked about so much because it works. People have been meditating and suggesting this for spiritual practices for centuries, probably thousands of years. Who knows? A long time. You shift your vibration, you shift your heart rate and your blood flow. You shift the pace of your mind, you shift your thoughts, you shift your body's frequency, its vibration, so that you can connect with other things that are on that frequency and vibration. Meditation is about learning to be very intentional with your vibration, with your state of being, and learning control, learning balance, learning peace, and how to be calm. These types of things, these things that go along with meditation, help your spiritual practices be more clear, be more clean, be more calm, be more centered. That means there's less strain, less worry, less anxiety, less fear. There is more calm, there is more relaxation, there is more ease. You don't have to push and strain and struggle your way through life. Meditation is about learning that you can be calm and ease and relaxed as you move through life, as you flow through life. Spirituality is very flowy and abstract too, so this pairs beautifully with spirituality. If you want to get fancy with meditation, I suggest you search up Hertz frequencies and brainwave frequencies, delta, theta, beta, gamma, radio. These are actual frequency levels. This is science-y stuff. So where science meets spirituality. There are certain brainwave frequencies that we vibrate on during certain states of being. So like REM sleep vibrates on a certain frequency and lighter sleep is a different frequency, and when we're awake, that's a different frequency. So you can actually use those certain frequencies to help yourself enter those types of states. So if you're fully awake and you want to go into a deep meditation, you can put on REM sleep frequencies and bring yourself into that low hum. You can literally listen to the frequency on the vibration that you want to get on and be really knowledgeable and pinpointed about that. You can also follow guided meditations if you have a hard time meditating on your own. I will link below my favorite resource for free meditations. Of course, we've all heard people talk about how meditation pairs so wonderfully with spirituality, but less so do people talk about how long it actually takes to get good at meditation. So I just want to be someone to tell you, if you're new to meditation, it does take time to get good at it. That's okay. Everyone has their own different pace. Don't stress it. Don't worry about it, because that's not what meditation is for. You're not entering into meditation to try and be the best. You're entering into meditation to relax and to chill out. So just chill. Don't worry about if you're doing it right or wrong. Do what feels good. That served me so much more in the long run, just following what felt good for me. It took years of daily practice for me to get really, really good at meditation, to get to where I can use meditative states to enter spiritual states, and where I could use meditation to put myself to sleep, which I have a video talking about how I meditate myself to sleep if you want to check that out. That technique I do use to enter spiritual practices as well. Leap of faith. This is a step that I think everyone will face at some point in spirituality. Whatever type of spirituality you're into, you have to be able to believe in the things that you can't see. Believing in what we cannot easily see, cannot easily explain, cannot easily access. Things that we can't easily explain with science or logic, or maybe not at all with science or logic. To believe without all of that is a challenge, and that is the point of the leap of faith. There will be so many times, not just in spirituality, but in life, that you have to be open to the possibility of something before you know if it's actually possible. You have to believe in the possibility. You have to believe in the idea. In time, we experience more, and then believing is a lot easier because we have validation that we have built from our experiences. You know it's real because you've already done it, right? But in the beginning, you don't have all of these experiences to access yet. You're believing without having done it yet. And that's a challenge. It is. You start with this leap of faith and this leap of curiosity. And hopefully it's a leap of curiosity and you're not leaping with fear. Flow. I love this one. I kind of already touched on this. Spirituality is so flowy. There's no need to strain, no need to stress, no need to force things. You don't have to be in control all the time. You can have faith, you can have trust, you can flow. We're all born with a spiritual connection, and you don't have to try so hard to connect back. It's your natural state of being to have this connection to the spiritual. So don't try and force it. Just flow and see how you naturally connect. Divination. I'm not sure if I say this word right. Divination? We'll go with that. This is the practice of using things to help spiritual connection. The most common ones that you'll think of are tarot or oracle cards, pendulums, scrying or scrying, which is the use of a crystal ball or sometimes mirrors. There are lots of other forms of magic, cauldrons, crystals, even Ouija boards. That's a form of divination. There's a lot. But basically, spiritual tools that help you connect with the spiritual. I think a lot of people see pop culture and they think that they have to use tools to be able to connect with spirits. And that's not true. You can connect without any kind of tools. You can use tools though if you want to. I think people also see pop culture like movies, TV, books even, and they see that these types of tools of divination often result in scary things happening. All the horror movies, they love to show that. And that may be true for some types of divination, or depending on your intentions or your mindset or how you're using the practice, yeah, it could end in kind of sketchy things. Or maybe not. That really just depends on how you're using it, how you're approaching the practice. I will end this section by saying if you feel really drawn to some type of spiritual practice, follow your gut. 100%. If you feel like a deep calling towards it, there is probably a reason and maybe a past life connection that you know that there will be a resonance there between you and that practice. So go for it and approach it with childlike curiosity and optimism and hope and good vibes and see what comes of it. I would just add on to there, just be mindful and respectful and treat your practice as sacred. Treat it as a part of your soul, you know? At this point in the video, we're going to talk about some deeper suggestions. Remember at the beginning I said I'd start with the basics? Now we're going into some deeper suggestions. So, I've had my abilities for as long as I can remember. And even in the times when I tried really hard to shut it off and close it out of my life, I couldn't. It's a really, really deep part of who I am. We're all born with spiritual connection though. All of us. Everyone. You're born connected. Most just naturally lose that connection though to the spiritual as they grow up. So for a deeper suggestion here, if you're having trouble opening up and expanding your spiritual abilities, it may be time to reflect back on why you closed off in the first place. Why did you lose this connection? Using myself as an example here again. I was trying to shut off my spiritual abilities because I knew that my connection wasn't something that everyone had. So I knew I wasn't going to be understood by everyone. I wasn't going to be accepted by everyone. Wouldn't be loved by everyone. That people wouldn't be able to give me validation or much guidance because they're not doing things or feeling things that I am. I knew that that meant I would be a bit more alone. So I tried my best to close off those parts of myself and hide it and be normal. And as I've shared before, that did not work for me because it's too big of a part of who I am and it's too big of a part of my life path. So here we are. How I work with life, kind of in general across the board, is I like to find the roots and understand the why. Because if you find the root cause of something, and if you understand the why, then you can use that to turn it around. So using myself as the example here again, if the root and the why of why I was trying to shut off my abilities was that I feared I would not be understood and accepted by society, how to turn that around and heal that wound is to understand myself better and accept myself. I needed self-validation, not validation from society. I needed to give myself permission to be who I am, not waiting around trying to get permission from everyone else to be who I am. I feared not being loved by others, and so what I really needed was love from myself. So, using that as the whole example here, if you're really stuck and not able to open up your abilities, go back. Figure out why you closed off in the first place. Figure out why you lost that connection. And do your best to uncover the why and heal the why. Another quick suggestion here, right? You may be overwhelmed by this video. There may be a lot going on here, and at this point you're like, well, what do I do? So I will give you a short and simple task. Later at night, closer to the time that you're going to go to sleep, lay down, get real comfy in your bed, center yourself, calm yourself, maybe meditate a little bit, and set your intentions of what you want. I want to see spirits. I want to communicate with spirits. I want to open my spiritual gifts and explore spirituality deeper. Think about your intentions, soak in them, open yourself to experiencing some things in that moment. Stay in that space for a while, see if anything comes through. Look in your sight, sound, smell, all of your senses. See if anything comes through. If it doesn't, that's okay. Know that your connection and these intentions will unfold and come to fruition in their own time. Your presence and remaining open over time is what will bring this to fruition. Every night, do the same thing. At bedtime, you lay down, you get calm, you meditate, you center, you focus on your intentions. You wait in that space, in an openness, seeing if anything comes through. and you exit with gratitude no matter what happens. Do that every night. And by creating space in your daily life, by creating a consistent practice of making space in your life, making time in your life to expand and explore your connection, spirits will see that and things will start to come through. I can pretty much guarantee it. If you make it a practice, things will come through. Spirits love to be met halfway. So if you keep showing up at the halfway point, which by the way that practice, if you keep showing up at the halfway point, they'll take note and they'll come meet you. Spirits respect dedication and consistency and surrender and so much of what I just suggested. It has that resonance of being open and curious and loving and grateful and calm and centered and aligning with what's true to you. That will attract really good vibes. That'll attract good stuff. Some extra tips here. Tip number 1, please note that the presence of spirits feels a lot like anxiety. If you're not used to having spirits around you, you may recognize their presence as anxiety, like inner anxiety and inner fear. It's not always. So rather than feeling high vibrations around yourself and instantly recognizing it as fear, instead, do your best to stay calm and centered. Lean back into meditative practices and remain present. Something too, if you can't shake the feeling of anxiety, you can switch into nervous excitement rather than nervous fear. Because anxiety usually goes one way or the other. Anxiety can go the excitement route or anxiety can go the fearful route. So choose nervous excitement, like, ooh, I got the nervous jitters. That was so lame. Tip number 2, be cautious, not fearful, because we're not about fear. Be cautious of people who say that they can open up your spiritual abilities themselves. You can do that. You can force spiritual awakenings. Person number 1 can force person number 2 into a spiritual awakening. That is a thing. That can happen. I have seen it happen with people. It's brutal. Don't force a spiritual awakening to happen, whether you're doing it on yourself or going through another person. I do not suggest it. But be very cautious of people who say that they can fix all of your problems for you or do it for you, or I don't know. Be cautious of your spiritual leaders who you're looking to, you know? Tip number 3, again, flow. Flow with the natural pace that you want to expand. Connecting to, tip number 2. You don't need to force it. You don't need to rush it. You have tons of time. So just let yourself expand and explore and see where that leads you, Alright, this video was super long. It may be really overwhelming for people, so if you need to rewatch this a couple times, that's cool. You can also check this out in blog form so you can read it and kind of digest all the points. There are tons of links included in the blog post as well, lots of helpful things that connect into these topics. If you are interested in self-learning or self-pacing, check out my spiritual blog. Stay tuned here on YouTube because I'm going to be making a lot more videos about spiritual awakening and expanding your spirituality. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video if you liked it and you want to see more stuff like this. You can also check out my mini courses, which are sold on my shop. I will link it below. They're all self-paced, so you can learn in your own time and you can totally make it your own. You should also check out my ebook because my ebook is a spiritual awakening guide in written form. So there's a lot of options there. I do have spiritual services that I offer as well, so you can stay tuned and see what kind of services I'm offering. All of the links will be linked below. Lots of suggestions here for you guys. Classic mayo. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Definitely stay tuned for my other videos, how to see spirits and how to communicate with spirits. If you have any questions or comments or topic requests, you can leave them in the comments below. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe and come back to my channel.